In the secluded corners of North America, stories of mysterious creatures have persisted for decades, capturing imaginations and fueling legends. From California's misty parks to Oregon's rugged mountains and deep into Texas's dense woods, the figure of Bigfoot looms large in local stories. These dramatized accounts from the 1970s bring those eerie tales to life. In San Rafael, a musician's peaceful morning in Samuel P. Taylor State Park is interrupted by a startling encounter with something large and unknown. In Oregon's Mount Hood National Forest, a hunter finds himself tracking more than just typical game. And in East Texas, Bigfoot enthusiasts gather to discuss evidence and share their chilling experiences. These stories challenge our understanding of the world, blurring the line between myth and reality and inviting us to consider the possibility that something extraordinary may be out there.
San Rafael, California, One Independent Journal, September 29, 1975. Reporter's Notebook by Jeff Greer. Bigfoot spotted in Marin. Local musician shares his encounter. The legendary creature known as Bigfoot might be expanding its territory, possibly staking a claim in Samuel P. Taylor State Park, which lies somewhat south of its usual stomping grounds. This theory comes from musician and composer Joseph M. Speck of San Rafael, who believes he had a close encounter with the elusive creature one September morning while seeking inspiration in the mountains. As I was strolling along a creek in the park, filming the scenic surroundings, I heard an unusual noise from across the creek. Turning my camera in that direction, I managed to capture a brief glimpse of a large creature as it quickly vanished into the dense brush. From what I saw, the creature appeared to be about the size of a horse, black and possibly covered in hair, although I couldn't make out any distinct limbs or a clear outline. The sighting occurred around 9 a.m., just as the morning fog was beginning to lift.
Intrigued by what he captured on film, Speck took the footage to Los Angeles at the request of Wolpert Productions, a film company interested in analyzing the material to determine if it could indeed be evidence of the legendary Bigfoot. For decades, there have been reports of fleeting Bigfoot sightings along the Klamath River, near Fort Bragg, and in the mountainous regions of Northern California, Oregon, and Washington. Occasionally, large footprints, 16 inches or more in length, have been discovered. Expeditions have long sought this mysterious creature, often described as 7 to 8 feet tall, dark, shaggy, and highly elusive. Indian tribes from the Pacific coast have their own stories about the creature, whom they refer to as Sasquatch. In other mountainous regions around the world, similar beings are known as the Yeti or abominable snowman.
I later crossed the creek to investigate where I had seen the creature but found no footprints or other evidence. It made a weird neighing kind of sound.
Portland, Oregon, Willamette Week, September 16, 1975. You can bet your hiking boots on Bigfoot. Perched at the base of an abandoned observation tower in the Mount Hood National Forest, a Portland hunter scanned the densely wooded valleys surrounding Squaw Mountain. Looking through the scope of his high-powered rifle, he slowly panned the terrain.
What are you hunting for? Game, the two-legged kind.
Momentary paranoia seized me. He's either about to try target shooting with me as a clay pigeon stand-in, or it's some damn idiot looking for Bigfoot.
Bigfoot sighting. There was a sighting up here a few days ago.
A log trucker spotted a Bigfoot, the hunter explained, near the summit of Squaw Mountain. That was Labor Day 1973, and it seemed absurd that grown people would run around the back alleys of the Cascades chasing make-believe creatures. My code of life, never ask stupid questions of gun-toting, beer-crazed Sasquatch groupies, prevented me from getting into an extended discussion. I was anxious to get away from this nitwit Nimrod, and any big feet if they were around. As far as I was concerned, however, there was no such thing as a Bigfoot, or an abominable snowman, Yeti, or a Loch Ness monster. No way. And then Peter Byrne wrote his book. Skepticism yielded to curiosity. The search for Bigfoot, man, myth, or monster carefully lays out the history of the Bigfoot phenomenon. Byrne's straightforward presentation of the evidence convinced me. It's time for an open mind on the subject. Byrne's book is being released this month by Acropolis Books Limited, Washington, D.C., and Oregonians are about to be deluged by a promotional campaign about Bigfoot. They had better be prepared for it too, because if the U.S. government's recently released survey touting Portland and Oregon as the best place to live doesn't do it, then Peter Byrne's book may bring him out to Oregon, Tracking the Elusive Biped. Byrne is the foremost authority on Bigfoot. He is director of the Bigfoot Information Center, BIC, in the Dalles, and has continuously tracked the elusive biped for almost 5 years. There have been dozens of sightings in Oregon. The Bigfoot habitat, described by Byrne, ranges from Prince Rupert, British Columbia south to Northern California. Most sightings pinpoint Bigfoot in the Coast and Cascade Ranges. There have been a few reports out of northern Idaho, but none in 10 years. There are no recorded sightings in eastern Oregon. At least 4 sightings of Bigfoot or his tracks have been noted in Oregon and Washington this year. In May, a minister from Central Oregon spotted a Bigfoot south of the Dalles. Like many others who encounter the unexplainable, he went home and said nothing for 2 weeks. By then, it was too late for Byrne to pick up the trail. Byrne and his assistants put about 100,000 miles a year on 3 international scouts and talk with hundreds of people. A network of 500 BIC associates feeds the center bits of historical research and reports of sightings. At BIC, a lone white mobile home sited at the edge of town, a volunteer staff produces a monthly newsletter, Circulation 1000, and handles routine investigations. BIC is partially funded by the Academy of Applied Science, a group whose biggest project is attempting to film Scotland's Loch Ness Monster. The center and the related field investigations run up about $2,000 in operating costs per month. In 4.5 years, Byrne says, the center has investigated 89 credible accounts of Bigfoot encounters, going back 25 years. These are either footprints of unknown origin or accounts from woodsmen who claim to have caught a fleeting glimpse of an upright ape-like creature. There is an incredible consistency in these reports. Respected citizens unfamiliar with the Bigfoot phenomenon before their encounter all give a common description of the creature. The humanoid figure stands from 6.5 to 9 feet in height, weighs from 300 to 800 pounds, and is covered with longish hair, brown and black in most cases, reddish in others. Its footprint has been measured at 18 inches, some reports up to 24 inches, with an enormous 56-inch stride.
Do big hairy primates occupy East Texas, other than humans we mean? By Michelle Martinez, published October 3rd, 1975. I don't believe in Bigfoot. I thought I'd let you know that I absolutely do not believe in Bigfoot.
Chester Moore Jr. begins, addressing a room full of eager listeners. The audience shifts uncomfortably, feeling as if they've been led into a trap.
How many of you believe in Bigfoot?
Almost everyone reluctantly raises a hand. Then Moore delivers the punchline.
I think that believing is for religion, and I've accepted the fact that we have a hidden species of primate in North America.
The tension breaks, and relieved sighs ripple through the crowd of believers. Moore, a wildlife journalist with work published in Texas Parks and Wildlife, Texas Fish and Game, Tide, and the Port Arthur News, was one of several speakers advocating for the existence of Bigfoot at the 2nd Annual Texas Bigfoot Conference. Held earlier this month in Jefferson, near Longview, the conference was organized by the Texas Bigfoot Research Center, TBRC, a Dallas-based volunteer group dedicated to investigating Bigfoot activity in the state and documenting the behavior of these cryptids, or hidden animals. Cryptozoologists, the label many Bigfoot researchers adopt, study creatures believed to be extinct or unknown to science. The legitimacy of their work has been bolstered by the discovery of animals like the coelacanth, the okapi, and the mountain gorilla, species that were once known only through local legends and eyewitness accounts until they were officially classified in the 20th century. Bigfoot enthusiasts are quick to remind skeptics that the creature is not paranormal, but simply another undiscovered animal. We're not dealing with a monster, the missing link, a shapeshifter from another dimension, or an extraterrestrial being. I believe it's a flesh and blood animal, a primate of some sort that has, for the most part, managed to elude humans. Although the conference attracted over 200 attendees, Bigfoot believers remain a minority among the general public. However, Moore suggests that more people might be swayed if they understood the scientific basis and precedent for the existence of Bigfoot.
When I say I believe in Bigfoot, people look at me like I said I believe in some false god. Most people's impression of Bigfoot comes from tabloid headlines like, "Bigfoot stole my grandmother."
While Bigfoot sightings are relatively common in the Pacific Northwest, the idea of Bigfoot in Texas is surprising to many. But Woolheater points out that cryptids in Texas shouldn't be unexpected. His research into Texas folklore unearthed stories of a Bigfoot-like creature known as the Wild Woman of the Navidad, dating as far back as 1837. Texas's mild winters, diverse agriculture, abundant prey, and natural shelter could easily support a Bigfoot population. The creature's size, intelligence, and speed would place it at the top of the food chain, with no natural predators in East Texas forests and bottomlands. Luke Gross and Woolheater, who connected online through their shared interest in cryptozoology, founded the TBRC in 1999. In the past 3.5 years, the center's volunteer staff has grown from 2 researchers to 30, with an additional 8 to 10 associate members. All research is self-funded through membership dues. It would be nice if we could find a wealthy benefactor to support us. There's not much funding available for this kind of work. The cost of their high-tech equipment, Generation 3 night vision cameras, motion-activated infrared cameras, parabolic dish listening devices, thermal imaging units, GPS-integrated walkie-talkies, runs into the thousands of dollars. Despite attempts to secure funding from well-known Texans like Mark Cuban and Don Henley, the center has yet to find a modern-day Tom Slick, the Texas millionaire who financed cryptozoology expeditions in the 1950s. The TBRC has received over 100 eyewitness reports through its website, www.texasbigfoot.com, with 40 of those reports coming in after a news special about the group aired on NBC 56 Tyler Longview in July and August. While some of the sightings were recent, many were older claims from people who had kept quiet about their experiences for decades. We find that people are often traumatized by these events. It's almost therapeutic for them to finally talk about it, because they felt like they had no one to confide in. But in small towns in East Texas, it's just fairly accepted that these things are out there. Woolheater himself claims to have seen a Bigfoot in 1994. On a moonless night, as he and his wife drove home to Dallas from New Orleans, his headlights caught a tall, hairy figure walking along the side of the road. It was grayish in the light, and it was moving in the same direction we were, so we just saw the back of it, but it was definitely moving. We both looked at each other at the same time and said, "Did you just see what I just saw?" He wanted to turn back, but his wife, then his girlfriend, refused. He hasn't seen another Bigfoot since that night. When an eyewitness files a report with the TBRC, investigators follow up by phone and, if possible, visit the site of the incident. If the sighting is recent, they search for signs of Bigfoot, tree breaks or twists, hair, blood, and, of course, tracks. We've found a lot of areas with tree twists. To actually twist a tree against the grain requires more than just a large animal leaning against it. It takes torque, which almost requires a thumb. Investigators also assess whether the sighting area could realistically support a Bigfoot population, offering adequate food, water, and shelter. Despite the growing body of evidence, public skepticism remains.
You should be skeptical when there isn't better evidence in cases where there should be. We don't consider this paranormal because it's within the realm of possibility. If there's a large ape-like creature out there that has managed to elude discovery all this time, more power to it, but it would be pretty difficult to do.
Bigfoot trackers explain anomalies like inconsistent track shapes and varying toe numbers with genetics.
We're in the South, we've got things hanging out in the woods, it's probably inbreeding.
A small genetic pool might also explain the aggressive behavior reported in southern Bigfoot sightings, which is not observed in the Northwest. And since no carcasses or skeletons have been found, researchers speculate that Bigfoot might bury or cannibalize their dead, or perhaps, like some animals, conceal themselves when dying. Either people are outright lying, hallucinating, being hoaxed by someone else, misidentifying a known animal, or they saw what they say they saw. I believe that at least some of them fall into that last category. And if even one of them really saw what they claim, then there's something out there. Views of the investigators in the article is written. Thank you for tuning in to this channel. Remember, this channel is all about having fun and sharing both old and new stories about Bigfoot. We're not here to prove whether Bigfoot exists. That's a job for other channels. What I aim to do is share the fascinating stories people have told over the years, especially those from old articles when sharing such experiences required a lot of courage. Back then, people risked being called crazy or liars just for speaking up. It's amazing how many people have shared their stories on platforms like BFRO and other organizations. I truly believe that most of these accounts are genuine experiences. I appreciate all your comments, including the negative ones, as they help me improve my videos, whether it's adjusting the number of narrators or lowering the music volume. I created this channel because it's a great hobby for me, whether I get monetized or not. I love sharing Bigfoot stories, and although I've had my own experience that I haven't shared because of what people might think, especially when it happened, I want this channel to be a space where stories can be shared without fear of judgment. Thank you so much to all my viewers. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. Your support means the world to me.